This is Rob from Quilting on a Budget, and as I have been cleaning my sewing space over the last few days, I wanted to share with you the tools that I keep right next to my machine for easy sewing. So here we go. Let me turn the camera around. Okay, I've got the camera turned around, so let me start first with my sewing light, which has a ring of LEDs, and you can see how bright it is, but it also has a 10x magnifier, so when you look through it you can see everything up close, and I use this for me to help with my vision. Then the other big thing that I have is my Martelli rotary cutting mat, and I'll show you the things. But it's a multi-piece cutting mat. So there's a pressing mat and the base that you can change up as you're using. But this is great for your machine because it rolls very easily because it's on ball bearings. So this is the cutting mat. It's from Martelli. They call it the roundabout, I think. Then, which has the anti-slip on the back, which makes it great. And then this is the pressing mat that is included with it, which works absolutely wonderful. But I broke down and purchased the wool pressing mat that matches this, and when they were having one of their 40% off sales. And I haven't even had a chance to use it, but it's a beautiful wool mat. And then here is the turntable, which is on ball bearings, and you just put whatever piece you're using at the time. If you're doing paper piecing or applique or whatever, you have your pressing mat, and see, it will not move because the back even has a version of non-slip. It's like a felt on the back, which causes it to non-slip. I always keep under my machine. I have two inexpensive commercial carpet tiles to go under my machine to catch all the threads, the lint, needles, accessories. So there we go. And then I have my trusty little mini iron. This is from a company in Germany called Prim, but they make them in the US as well. This gets really hot. It does have steam, but I never use steam at all. I always spray my fabric and then use a dry iron. But it's a great size. As you can see, let's put the circular mat back up here with the wool pressing mat, so you get an idea of how cute and size it is on and it has a good grip. It's bigger, the grip is as big as the iron, so it's really a nice little iron by your sewing machine to do fusible web, applique, paper piecing, any kind of applique where you just need a nice little iron by your table. So let's clear that off. Also, because I do a lot of embroidery, I have a lot of USB sticks. I bought a whole pack of 10 or 20 1 gigabyte USB sticks really cheaply. The reason I chose 1 gigabyte is they're big enough to hold anything, but they're not too big that you can lose your designs, because some of the machines will take up to like 32, 64 gigabyte USB sticks, but you fill them up with designs and there's thousands and thousands of them that you have to sort through. So I always keep them. And then and I have them in different colors. This is my Janome one for my Janome. This is for my new Bernina. I have another red one somewhere that is a smaller size for my older Bernina because it only holds 256 because it's a very old. And then this is my Pfaff stick. They're always somewhere now close by. Then I always keep a Bernina oiling pen. They are great. You do not have to use them only on Bernina, but I use them with all my machines. And the reason is because you get this little point on the oiling pen, and you can put it wherever you want and add a drop of oil on your machine. So it just makes it easy. They're not the most inexpensive thing, but they're very, very convenient for like putting a drop of oil in your hook or on an oiling pad in your bobbin area or something. And I really like them for their convenience. Then I always have a screwdriver. This is for changing needles, lifting up needle plates, doing whatever you need. This one I think came with my Janome, which I like it because it has these little wings on it for you to grab a hold of. And then this one came from my Pfaff. They call this a spacer compensation tool or a button sewing tool. But the really cool feature is this little hole right here holds your needle so you can take it on and off like this without forcing your fingers to be too small. And most sewing machine places like Joann's that has Husqvarna Vikings or a Pfaff dealer will have these type of things. I don't know if Singer has them, but I know Viking and Pfaff have these compensation tools. They're like $4 or $5 if you want an extra one. Then most of my machines have touch screens, and I have two of these. They're little stylus nubby pens that I keep by my machine, and I got these in Japan for like $1 each, and I just use them. Then I have the really nice one for my new Bernina, but I very rarely use it. I always keep a pack of needles for whatever project I'm working on and what size I'm using depending on my thread. This is one I just had out, and I always keep them in case I break a needle. And I always have a number 2 Fiber Castile. Let me turn it around here. I use Fiber Castile pencils, and the reason is they have the old graphite lead in them, which washes out. So you can mark anything with a nice dark line, and it washes out. Some of the newer pencils have some kind of composite, and it does not like to wash out. But these are not inexpensive. They're like €8 or €9 for a box of 10. But I love them and they're well worth it. Then I have my tweezers. My tweezers for pulling a thread or moving something or grabbing whatever when it's in a hard to reach place. So they're basically a pair of tweezers. Then I have my bottle brush for cleaning. And it has this end and it has this end, and this articulates a little bit. But this is not soft bristles, but it's not hard as well, which allows you to really, really get down into your machine and brush all the dust out. And you get these at like the dollar store or Walmart. They're just little bottle brushes to clean things, fruits and vegetables in your kitchen. But they're like a nylon bristle. So they're not too hard, but they're not soft either. Then I have a pair of bent nose scissors. This is for embroidery because it allows you to hold your hands up and get in there and snip a thread. These are great little tools. And then of course I have a pair. This is a German pair of Paul scissors. They're made by Wüsthof, but they're their inexpensive line. And then the next thing I have always have a selection of thread. This is 150 weight bobbin thread for embroidery. This is 50 weight cotton from Metler. It's in a color called 3000. They call it Candlewick, which is a great thread. These two are Isacord. This is Hunter Green. This is a deep burgundy red, which I'm using for a project that I'm going to make videos. And then this is a cone of Metler Isomet Metallic Gold, which is for another project we'll discuss later. This is 60 weight, inexpensive cotton Italian thread, but I really prefer my Metler, but this is like for basting, because this big spool is about half the price of one of these. But still, it's inexpensive, but it's just for basting, doing quick things. And then I also have scraps that I use for test sewing and testing my stitches and my tension. See here, you can see me playing with a satin stitch, trying to get it just right. And candle wicking stitches, my using a stippling stitch, and you can see that I use it. This one I use for free motion. Not very good at free motion, but I do it. This one also I've been using for free motion and stitching, testing my straight stitch for 1/4 inch. And then I also keep a dust attracting rag, which I need to clean, for wiping down the dust and everything on my machine. Then I also keep my thread stands. I have 2 traditional thread stands for just standard thread, but then I also have a small and a large Martelli stand for my more difficult sewing, which I absolutely love. They are well worth the price of them. They work magnificently. And then also I have my accessory box for whatever machine. My Bernina is set up on this table, so that's my Bernina accessory box. And everything is, when I'm sewing, right here, ready for me to sew. So here's my Bernina. It's currently set up for embroidery, where I was doing the towels for over Christmas, because I have not started sewing yet. I've been getting my room ready. But this is the basic overview of the tools that I have by my machine when I'm sewing. I have my thread, my needles, scissors, pressing, everything that you would need, so you don't have to get up and down every second to get something. Everything is right here for when you work. So I hope this helps you out. And my next video will probably be, because I'm going to start a big embroidery project, be an overview of my Janome. Hope everyone has a great week, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel, Quilting on the Budget. Thanks. Have a great day.